Battle of New York Act 2 in the books. After being down by as much as 18 points, those boys in orange and blue came back ferociously, led by a defensive effort with Frank Ntilikina in the mix, Julius doing his thing, Broadway Barrett willing his team to close this thing out. But in the end, man, it was too much Kyrie, too much refs, and it was just a little bit too late, man. Just a little bit too late. Knicks go down in Brooklyn, 117 to 112. Tough loss, man. But valiant, courageous comeback. It was just a little bit too late, man. Just a little bit too late. So Act 2 goes to Brooklyn. Julius and company left very, very upset. And yeah, man, 117 to 112. Salute to everybody in the chat once again. Hit that thumbs up button for your squad. CP Ashley Moss, CK2K in the building. This Knicks post-game live presented by Manscaped. Man. CK, give me some thoughts, man. How you feeling right now? Man?
You had to calm me down before we even started the show because I was going into how I was feeling. I'm pissed, man.
Tight, man.
Y'all already know, man. Look. Tough win or tough loss. See, look, my brain was all so fixed.
It's all good, man. It's all good. Take your time, bro.
I was so fixed that we was going to get that W. I was believing in us, the way we fought back in that fourth. A team that was showing so much grit, so much. We were looking like a lot of people on Twitter, folding already, selling, talking about, we should have won, but we kept fighting. But those Brooklyn officials came in and they had to step in and take things in their own hands or not take things. I'm so pissed off with that. All I'm saying is, Obi Toppin, I would have let Julius Randle go. That's it. That's all I got.
Yeah, man. It was. I feel Julius. On that one. I felt like they called a lot of ticky-tack garbage fouls on Frank, who gave us the effort, man, gave us the defensive intensity that we needed to bring us back in this game. I thought he was a huge impact in that fourth quarter. Obviously, Kyrie was just unstoppable overall. But, yeah, it was a lot of ticky-tack calls on Frank. The last play, Knicks are down 3, had a chance to tie it. They end up tying up Joe Harris. They get the jump ball, got exactly what they wanted. They win the tip, call timeout. It's 5 seconds left. They would get it to Julius, and Kyrie tapped that ball. Should have been another jump ball, but instead they call a travel on Julius Randle, and that's all she wrote, man. It sucks because you never want to see the game come down to this, and Knicks had their opportunities, though. Let's be real. They had their opportunities. We missed a ton of open looks down the stretch, whether it was Burks, Bullock, Frank before he fouled out, missed a wide open 3. We had our chances, man. And you hate to leave it in the hands of the refs, and unfortunately it came down to that, and just was too little too late. Ash, how you feeling? You're on mute.
You're muted.
Speechless.
I'm pissed.
Yeah. No, I'm pissed. I'm upset. Like you said, obviously, yes, the Knicks had their opportunities. I think we gave away too many points. Even in the first quarter, we gave up 35. We didn't play defense throughout all 4 quarters of the game. Obviously, Brooklyn has a team full of shooters, and the last thing you want to do is allow them to score easily and quickly, which we did. And they don't need the extra help because they can do it on their own. Mm-hmm. You also don't want to go ahead and give them, when you have a team full of shooters, you want to make it as uncomfortable for them to shoot as possible, especially people like Kyrie Irving, who's shooting 40 plus from the 3-point line this season. I mean, you just don't want to give them any extra cushion, any extra satisfaction, any extra help. But that does not negate the fact that this game came down to a call by a referee who did not do their job, period, point blank. For one, the play before that, if it takes you that long to figure it out if it's a foul or not, it's not a foul. Let me make it real simple for you. It's not a foul. Second of all, it is clear as day that Kyrie made contact with that basketball. So either you don't call a foul, you don't call anything, or you call a jump ball. That is basketball 101. Right. That's not, a new rule that you could understand that maybe, they forgot it. That has been in the basketball books, the basketball code of conduct, if you will, from the beginning of time. This was a travesty. This was despicable. This was disgusting. This was atrocious, and I'm upset. It should not have come down to this, and the refs are on the books, and I'm calling it because that was absolutely zero excuse for that whatsoever. That call has been in the basketball book since the beginning of time.
And it was right in front of him. It was right in front of you. It was right in front of the refs. How do you miss that call, man? Yo, Julius was about to beat his ass. Julius was about to beat Scott Foster's ass. Worldwide West, who saves everybody. Remember, he saved Ron Artest at the mouths of the palace. He had to come get Julius up out of there, man. Because Julius was going ballistic. It's tough. It's definitely tough, man. But as you said, Ash, they definitely didn't set a good tone defensively. I thought Julius was part of the issue. You had Jeff Green looking like Scottie Pippen out there. He had 14 first quarter points. And the thing is that Jeff Green killed us the first game that these two met at MSG. So, yes, Harden and Kyrie are going to get theirs, but you can't disrespect veterans like Jeff Green and some of the other ancillary pieces because they can still kill you. This is the best team in the league right now. Record be damned. This is the best team in the league right now, so you got to respect them. And so we didn't set that tone defensively. Listen, quickly, Kyrie's one of the top 3 point guards in the league. It was a tough matchup for Quickly. It's a tough matchup for anybody. Gave Quickly the business, and I thought that also affected Quickly on the other end because we just had no flow to our offense in the beginning. We badly missed Derrick Rose. We badly missed Peyton. We had no offense. We had no point guard out there to really get us going, and it was a lot of one-and-dones, a lot of selfish play, and we just couldn't keep up with that firepower. Our offense is just not in their league when it comes to shooting or things of that nature, and we just couldn't keep up. But it was a defense, which is our calling card, and the defense really buckled down in that second half. And like I say, it was Frank, man. We were looking to see if Frank was going to make his impact on this game, and he really did. First, it was him guarding Shamet in that second half, and then ultimately, trying to slow down Kyrie near the end. Frank would ultimately end up fouling out, but it was a good effort by him. Definitely good effort, bro.
What's frustrating about this, though, is that I hate games that come down to these weak calls like this.
Say it again.
If you're going to lose, I'd rather lose on your own accord. Right. I'd rather not lose because a ref doesn't do their job. And that's what's frustrating. And what's also frustrating is the refs in this game missed at least 4 calls on Frank. It's whatever. Move it on.
You got to respect him, man. Frank he's a defender. Let him play.
That's what I'm saying.
You move past he's not. What are you going to do? But when it comes down to the wire, when the game is on the line, you can't make the right call after missing 4 back to back. Not even, and then before that, it took you 5 minutes to review something that was clear as day that it wasn't a foul. Mm-hmm. Right. And then you call this? Come on. If you can't ref, then don't be a ref. This is just not okay. If you can't do your job, then don't do it. I don't want to see a scouting report or a ref report, whatever you call it, the next day saying, oh, well, after review, we realized that it should have been a jump ball. I don't want to hear none of that.
Yeah,
do your job the first time. That. Like, what?
They'll resend that, and you'll hear that we made a mistake. It was right in front of Scott Foster was looking right there. He was right there on the play and completely missed it. But it just is what it is, man. Once again, though, it was a valiant effort, and one of the things, CK, that in terms of adjustments, when Tibbs went to the bench in the second quarter, he went full bench. He went Frank, he went Burks, he went Obi, he had Noel out there, he had Taj out there. He had Taj out there as well, and they got into a quick deficit. And one of the things you wanted to see him do was stagger the minutes between RJ and Julius. We've been asking for that for some time now, not just this game, but period, because sometimes you just can't afford it. With that second unit out there, you just can't afford not having either one of those guys out there to help shoulder the load offensively. He would end up doing that in the fourth. Julius logged a ton of minutes in this game, period, but in that fourth quarter, he had Julius out there. And then he benches Julius, puts RJ in. At that time, it's about, I think it's 103-94. RJ comes in there, Knicks going a 9-4 run. RJ takes over. They start running the offense through him. And that's what really turned the tides on this game, man. When RJ came in, started bully balling, getting to the lane, doing what he does best. That's what brought it back, man. In conjunction with Frank's defense, it was great. It was a great job by RJ, great job by Julius, great job by Frank, bro.
Yeah, like you mentioned, that first group of substitutions was definitely one of the ones that made no sense and we literally were seeing the other team do exactly what you just mentioned. You saw instantly James Harden came out in the first quarter, came right back in to begin the second quarter with the bench unit. And that's a similar thing that we need to do.
Yeah.
And luckily we figured out in the second quarter or the second half, but sometimes it's a little too late because now we're playing catch up. Where when we were in the game to begin with, the first quarter we were keeping up with them. I mean, our defense was slacking a little bit, but at least we were making our shots. Quickly was making some good shots. Jules was making some good shots. We were in the game until that bench unit came out. So I guess we can give them credit for figuring it out in the second half. But when we, like you mentioned, when we're already down, 11, 12, 13 points at that time, and then we have to play catch up, and then we're making those kind of rotations, it's a little bit frustrating. But at the same time, all due respect, give it to, RJ having a good job. And Frank Ntilikina defensively, I'm glad we're giving him some attention there because it was very important. But I don't understand how we can watch Marcus Smart. We can watch Patrick Beverly. We got all these dudes because they allow defenders hack because Frank Ntilikina makes the slightest move and he gets a foul called all the time.
No respect.
All the time. And
I
I don't understand it. And people talk about, well, I mean, he's reaching too much. I'm like, well, I can show you footage of any of your favorite defenders doing the exact same thing. But because they saying something, they don't get a foul call. I think that's whack. So I had a problem with that. And you mentioned it, about 4 fouls. There's a few of them that, a little over aggressive, but about 4 of those 6 fouls he had definitely were terrible little prissy calls I was not a fan of.
Yeah.
But rotation in that first half was kind of weird, but we adjusted in the second half, and that's what it's about. And we fought back. Reps be damned. We fought back and we made the rotations like we were supposed to. The adjustments be like we were supposed to.
Yeah. I mean, it is a little one of my critiques of us early in this game was, yes, the shots were falling, we were hanging in there, but you can't get into a shootout with a team that has shooters. You just can't, especially when you don't have them, which is why your defense is such an important aspect. And when you're a top defensive team like the Knicks are, it's such an important aspect of your team and your success because it's what keeps you in games. Eventually, you'll start getting into hot streaks throughout the game, which the Knicks did. Guys started warming up. They started getting the hot hand, things like that. But your defense is what keeps the game in front of you at a certain distance enough to where it's attainable to try to catch up at some point. Obviously, it's always debilitating having to play from behind. It's just the way it is. Nobody likes to do it. But if you are going to do it, at least do it enough to where, your defense is keeping it somewhat attainable, not completely just letting it get away from you 100%. But again, this came down to obviously running out of time, not having the shooters, not being able to compete in that aspect. But this came down to the officiating. And I can't stand a terribly officiated game. I can't say that the Knicks played perfect because we didn't. But you put in this type of an effort to fight back, you're supposed to, at some aspect and some portion of the game, the refs are supposed to just let you play and make the right call. And they dropped the ball tonight. This is not what you do in the NBA. And I don't know what the deal with is in the officiating in this league, especially this season, but someone's got to figure something out because games should not be lost like this. That is unacceptable. It was right in front of you. Agreed. Now, if it happened on the other side of the court, listen, you can't make a call for what you can't see. But if it's right in front of you, you're supposed to make that call. Now, if it would have turned into anything, that I don't know. We don't know. We still could have lost the game. That's completely factual. We don't know how that outcome would have happened, but at least you would have made the right call and put us in the opportunity to either make that outcome for ourselves. And they didn't, and they screwed us. And that is what I have a problem with. And I'm not saying I would have let Julius Randle fought, but I definitely wouldn't have stopped him. I'm just saying.
But I mean, it's that same, emotion that made Julius go off. That's not really in his character. But again, when it's right in front of the referee and you fight so hard to come back, it's tough. Definitely tough to go out that way, but you know what? They like I said, they also had their chances out there on the perimeter, and they just couldn't knock it down. Daryl from Washington Heights, what's going on, bro?
Hey, what's up, CP? What's up, CK? Ash?
What's going on?
Barrett did have a good game. The thing is, he got a lot of those points on free throws because they kept
10
fouling.
for 10.
10 for 10.
10 for 10.
I was going to say.
Exactly. But what I wanted to talk about is, how sports are, how the game is when it comes to teams like, the Nets and you playing the Knicks. This is big time. This is big money. Like what she said, The refs, they took the game into their own hands, and they were playing around when Kyrie was having issues with Frank guarding him. So let's get the best defensive player off of the star player so we could try to even out the game. They were playing God right there. And the only way we could have won that game is by making our shots that we didn't make. So it was like, at that point, it was us against them. That we just had to sit there and make our shots.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we are shorthanded, man. The game could have been a little bit different if Rose was around. You know, we still don't have Mitchell. You know, it's not. We got a lot of factors, and we still held them.
Still held down
to those points.
True, so true indeed, man. Appreciate the call. Even Dame Dollars commented on this thing, man. He said Kyrie blocked Julius' shot attempt. Why did Scott Foster blow his whistle and give the Nets the ball? Dame was tight about it. Salute to Dame Dollars.
It's a travesty, and it's, you know what, and also I'm gonna go on the record and saying all the Nets fans in this chat are gonna come at me crazy, but that's okay. It is embarrassing, okay, that the Nets, the Brooklyn Nets, are getting home calls. You guys aren't even really home. New York is our home, and you're getting home calls to help you win against the real home team.
Tell them why you mad.
You guys should be embarrassed. You should be embarrassed. Everyone in the chat who are Nets fans should be embarrassed. All the TikTokers in Barclays Center should be embarrassed. I'm embarrassed for you guys that you have to resort to such low down, obvious freaking home calls to help you win against the real team in New York to make you feel better about yourself. You should be embarrassed. It is a travesty and I feel sorry for you.
Actually, it's so unfortunate that they can't hear you because there's only 2 of the 5 in this chat right now because we got 2 dislikes and I'm assuming those are only 2 Nets fans.
They in here heavy, man. The Nets fans are definitely I'm sure.
Well, I can't hear them. So
yeah, Nets fans are in here heavy. I know that. I'm sure Evan Roberts, WFN, is in here watching as well, man. So they in here.
Jay-Z, like jocking, like y'all jocking Jay-Z. You guys are jocking the Knicks. It's embarrassing.
Salute to